In the quiet suburb of Richmond, British Columbia, the case of Cindy James would become one of the most perplexing and haunting mysteries in Canadian criminal history. It was a case characterized by a relentless and sinister force that seemed determined to torment Cindy until the very end. Cindy James was a well-respected nurse, living a seemingly ordinary life in Richmond. However, her life took a disturbing turn in 1982 when she began receiving a series of bizarre and threatening phone calls. These calls were just the beginning of a relentless campaign of harassment that would escalate to terrifying proportions. The torment didn't stop with phone calls. Cindy reported vandalism to her property, including slashed tires and cut telephone lines. She claimed to have been attacked on multiple occasions, with evidence of physical injuries to support her claims. The methods of harassment grew increasingly bizarre and sinister, with Cindy discovering disturbing notes left at her doorstep and even a dead cat placed on her porch. Fearful for her safety, Cindy contacted the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, RCMP, and reported the harassment. Investigators took her case seriously, setting up surveillance around her home and launching an extensive investigation. However, despite their efforts, they were unable to catch the perpetrator in the act. What made Cindy's case even more bewildering was her claim that she was being stalked by an unidentified woman. She referred to this mysterious figure as the woman and described her as a tall, dark-haired woman who would confront her in public places, warning her to comply with the tormentor's demands. As the months passed, Cindy's life became a nightmarish ordeal. She withdrew from social activities, grew paranoid, and installed elaborate security measures in her home. Friends and family became increasingly concerned for her well-being as she lived in constant fear. In 1984, Cindy's worst nightmare became a tragic reality. She disappeared, leaving behind her car, groceries, and belongings at her home. 6 months later, her body was found in a vacant lot, partially clothed and with her hands tied behind her back. Her cause of death was ruled as an overdose of prescription drugs and alcohol. The investigation into Cindy James's death presented more questions than answers. The circumstances surrounding her demise were shrouded in mystery. Some believed that she may have taken her own life due to the relentless harassment, while others suspected foul play. In the absence of conclusive evidence, the case remained unsolved. Despite extensive investigations and inquiries, the identity of Cindy's tormentor, the woman, and the circumstances leading to her death remained a baffling enigma. The case of Cindy James has continued to captivate the public and law enforcement alike. It raises haunting questions about the limits of human endurance in the face of relentless stalking and harassment. Was Cindy a victim of an unknown assailant, or did she suffer from a psychological condition that led her to stage her own disappearance? The true story of Cindy James is one of tragic proportions, marked by fear, paranoia, and unanswered questions. It remains a testament to the complexities and challenges of investigating cases of stalking and harassment, where the line between reality and perception can become blurred in the most disturbing ways imaginable. In the vast landscape of the internet, anonymity can become a breeding ground for obsession and sinister intentions. This chilling tale unfolds in 2011, when a woman named Amy Allwine found herself ensnared in a web of deception and terror orchestrated by an anonymous online stalker. Amy Allwine, a resident of Cottage Grove, Minnesota, was like many other ordinary individuals navigating the digital age. She led a quiet life with her husband, Stephen Allwine, and their teenage son. However, her tranquility was soon shattered when a relentless online harasser targeted her. The stalker's arsenal included the infamous CRAIGSLIST, a popular platform for classified advertisements and transactions. The harasser posted fraudulent ads under Amy's name, soliciting strangers for explicit encounters. These posts were designed to tarnish her reputation and provoke fear. As Amy sought to remove these fraudulent ads, the stalker's sinister game escalated. Emails began flooding her inbox, filled with veiled threats and disturbing messages. The stalker's digital harassment invaded every aspect of her life, affecting her personal and professional relationships. Amy was trapped in a nightmare with an enemy who hid behind the shield of anonymity. Despite Amy's best efforts to preserve her privacy and ward off the stalker, the torment continued unabated. The distress and fear that enveloped her life were immeasurable. She was living a relentless ordeal with no end in sight. As the investigation into the CRAIGSLIST stalking unfolded, law enforcement agencies were faced with the daunting task of unmasking the anonymous tormentor. Their digital trail was as elusive as a phantom's, leaving detectives with limited leads to pursue. The stalker's ability to cover their tracks in the vast expanse of the internet presented a formidable challenge. Suspicion eventually turned to Stephen Allwine, Amy's husband. His behavior throughout the ordeal appeared increasingly suspicious. He seemed detached from the gravity of the situation, offering vague explanations for the events that transpired. Investigators could not ignore the possibility that the source of Amy's torment might be closer to home than they initially thought. As the authorities delved deeper into Stephen's life, a disturbing picture emerged. He had been leading a double life, one that included an affair with another woman. As the pieces of the puzzle fell into place, the investigation took a shocking turn. Stephen was not only the spouse of the victim, he was also the prime suspect in her stalking. The motive behind Stephen's actions was driven by a sinister agenda. He sought to eliminate his wife, Amy, to collect a substantial life insurance policy, allowing him to continue his secret life with his mistress. To execute his plan, he plotted a gruesome murder that would appear as an accident. In November 2016, the unthinkable happened. Amy Allwine was found dead in her home, the victim of a gunshot wound to the head. Initially staged to resemble a suicide, investigators quickly uncovered the truth. Stephen's web of deception had unraveled, exposing his involvement in both the stalking and the murder of his own wife. In the end, Stephen Allwine was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The CRAIGSLIST stalker, once an anonymous and sinister presence in Amy's life, was revealed to be her own husband, a man who had plotted her demise to satisfy his own sinister desires. The CRAIGSLIST stalker's tale is a haunting reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of seemingly ordinary lives. It serves as a cautionary tale about the depths of human deception and the terrifying consequences that can arise when obsession and manipulation collide in the digital age. In the quiet town of Circleville, Ohio, a mystery unfolded in the late 1970s and early 1980s that would captivate and terrify the community. The enigma began with a series of anonymous letters filled with threats, accusations, and deeply personal information. These letters not only disrupted the lives of those they targeted, but also led to a chain of events that culminated in tragedy. The story of the Circleville letters remains one of the most perplexing unsolved mysteries in American history. The anonymous letters first began to appear in mailboxes throughout Circleville, and they were often disturbingly detailed. Recipients were shocked to find that the letters contained personal information about their lives, including closely guarded secrets. The writers seemed to know the intimate details of their daily routines, relationships, and private matters. The tone of the letters was menacing, with threats of dire consequences if the recipients did not comply with the writers' demands. One of the primary targets of the Circleville letters was Mary Gillespie, a school bus driver. The letters accused Mary of an extramarital affair with the school superintendent, Gordon Massey. The writer demanded that Mary end the alleged affair, threatening to expose the relationship if she refused. Mary's husband, Ron Gillespie, also received threatening letters. Fearing the potential consequences of the letters, Mary and Ron initially kept the matter to themselves. However, as the letters continued, they decided to share their ordeal with friends and family. The community rallied behind them, offering support and assistance in an effort to uncover the identity of the anonymous writer. The situation escalated when the writer placed large handwritten signs along Ron and Mary Gillespie's bus route, publicly accusing Mary of the affair. The signs were bold and confrontational, leading to increased scrutiny from both the community and law enforcement. Ron Gillespie, deeply angered and frustrated by the relentless harassment, decided to take matters into his own hands. He began conducting his own investigation into the Circleville letters, determined to expose the writer's identity. This decision, however, would have tragic consequences. On August 19, 1977, Ron Gillespie was found dead in his car, which had crashed into a tree along a rural road. His death was ruled as a result of a single gunshot wound to the head. The gun found in the car was not registered to him, and the circumstances of his death raised suspicions. Many believed that Ron was murdered in connection to his investigation of the Circleville letters. The mysterious circumstances surrounding Ron Gillespie's death intensified the investigation into the Circleville letters. Despite the efforts of law enforcement, the identity of the letter writer remained elusive. Suspects came and went, but concrete evidence to link anyone to the crimes was lacking. Over the years, numerous theories and rumors circulated in Circleville, with some suggesting that the writer may have been known to the Gillespie family or had a vendetta against them. Others believed it could have been someone within law enforcement itself. Despite the lack of conclusive evidence, the Circleville letters continued to be sent, and the writer remained active. The community lived in fear, unsure of who among them could be responsible for the torment. The mystery endured, leaving behind a trail of shattered lives and unanswered questions. To this day, the identity of the Circleville letters writer remains a baffling enigma. The case serves as a haunting reminder of the power of obsession and the chilling impact of anonymous threats on a community. It is a testament to the resilience of those who endured the torment and a stark example of how some mysteries may never be fully unraveled, leaving behind a legacy of fear and uncertainty in their wake.